Everyone, welcome into today's episode of the Best Practices through UAC. Jason Deitch. I've known Jason for 20 years in chiropractic. Talks about email, his email product through the Smart Chiropractor. If you're looking at the cost of acquisition to acquire a customer, your CAC, email might be something that you're missing. You know, in the world of Google, Facebook, everybody's trying to figure out how to connect with people, bring them into your office. Email, your email list. This is going to be insightful for you. And on that note, like always, we have a sponsor. And so today's sponsor is Aspen Laser and Light. Is your current laser not delivering the results you want? Aspen Laser and Theralight invite you to a complimentary, no-risk demo day. Bring 10 to 15 of your toughest cases and see the difference for yourself. If you're not impressed, they'll pay you $500. So to schedule, call Mark Murdoch at 214-461-1827. Guys, I've watched Mark help a lot of practice members, but just the fact if you're ever interested in doing laser, he'll fly out to you. You just book your toughest cases. If he doesn't help one of them, he'll pay you $500. It's a great way that he sells his product, and you see the results that you get with it inside of the practice. So thank you to Mark. Thank you to Aspen Laser for sponsoring. Let's jump into today's episode. Everybody, welcome into the UAC Best Practices podcast episode with long-term member, almost everybody's a long-term member, Dr. Jason Deitch. I met Jason probably 20 years ago when he was a journeyman. He's always been a journeyman in chiropractic, coming through Albuquerque through one of our philosophy groups. I think it was the early days of Facebook. You were doing things, Jason, and it's been fun to just watch your evolution in the profession, what you've been doing. But what I really find interesting is what you've tapped into around connecting with practice members and helping them stay connected with the doctor. And so let's talk best practices. Take it away.
Well, I think hopefully everybody knows it's nice to see you. Thanks for having me, and always great to see you, Alan. It's been a lot of years together, and it's been quite a journey, as we both know. First of all, thanks for your service, and thanks for your kind words. But to get right into it, I think everybody knows my business partner, Dr. Jeff Langmaid, and I are part of the Smart Chiropractor. And we provide all kinds of tools for the profession to help you basically run a smarter practice, a smarter business. And to your point, when I was talking to Jeff about, what are the best practices that we really want to focus on, I think by far and away, the number one issue that most chiropractors are not really paying attention to is what we refer to as the gold. They are just simply walking by, passing by. You've heard sometimes, man walks down the path, stumbles over the truth, picks themselves back up and keeps on walking. And it sort of feels like that because most chiropractors, if you've been in practice for a few years, I don't mean those that are just starting up yesterday or in the past few months, but most chiropractors who've been in practice for a period of time have probably spent a lot of time, energy, and money bringing people into their practice, attracting new patients, whether that's spinal screenings, whether that's marketing, whether that's teaching, doing, webinars, whether it's on location and so on. You spend a lot of time, and you have, in most cases, a CAC, a customer acquisition cost, to bring people into your practice for the first time. Just about everybody knows that. And most conversations when it relates to chiropractors and growing their practice, unfortunately, gets very specifically focused on attracting new patients, which is, of course, a great thing. But we believe one of the best practices and one of the most overlooked opportunities is staying in touch with the people you've seen in the past. And so the gold most chiropractors have that they're not really mining, so to speak, metaphorically, is by really staying in touch with, in many cases, the thousands of patients you've seen over the years. You've spent a lot of money, a lot of time. People stop care, Alan, for one of three reasons. Either they feel better and go, thanks, doc, that was great, I feel better. They don't feel better. I thought I was going to get better quicker. I'm just not sticking with it. In their minds, it, quote, didn't work. Reality, they probably just didn't stick with it long enough. Or number three, life just gets in the way, which is probably most common for everybody. They start feeling better. Life starts happening, kids, business, travel, life. They stop continuing. And unfortunately, most chiropractors do not have any communication systems in place. We recommend email being the primary one to really keep in touch with their past patients. We call it teach and invite consistently. And I'm just going to leave it at that. That's the biggest missed opportunity right now I think most chiropractors are facing.
So, Jay, I think most people just innately understand I should probably be messaging my practice more. But I would imagine a couple objections are, well, I can just email blast somebody on MailChimp. Um, but we use your service for our clinics, and I know. Can you share some of the data and why is that not maybe the best strategy? I'm sure that's better than no strategy, but give us. I'd love you to talk. Why is what you're doing better than just your typical Mailchimp? But what are some data points you guys see now that you're doing this for so many offices? Opens, clicks, people coming in, reactivations. Talk about that.
I will be happy to. I'll address the first part, which is, why should you do it yourself versus outsource it? Doing it yourself requires a bunch of different things. Number one, you got to know which technologies to get. They're not free. You got to pay for them. Two, you got to learn how to use the technologies or have somebody you're dependent on to learn how to use the technologies. If you've got all that straight, then the hard part comes into play, which is, what are you going to say? And a lot of times docs will go, oh, I'm really passionate. I'll get into it. I love writing. I love communicating. I love connecting. And they'll do it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even for a few months. But the key to success is consistency. And so our motto is, and I'll just keep saying it, teach and invite consistently. And so the reason you outsource it to us is because you know it's going to get done week after week, month after month, year after year. And the time you miss by not doing it, you think you're saving money, is really opportunities of people not getting back into your practice. So that's sort of the big why. As far as the data points, I think the most impressive data point we have is that typically on most weeks, we send out over 2 million emails per month to over 250 offices, patients. So you can do the math. We have hundreds of offices that we send to millions of people each and every week with this exact philosophy to teach them something on their journey to better health. That's the name of our weekly email. And then invite them to take a next step, which is either reactivate back in the practice, refer somebody you'd like to refer, or ask a question like scheduling, billing, or the other things that would be required for them to make an appointment.
Yep.
We expect the reality is, Alan, the data is all over the place. So like most things, it's a bell-shaped curve. You've got, those that, are probably 20% exceptional. They're exceptional human beings. Understand what most people are looking for is sort of what's the average, but the reality is none of us are average. We all are somewhere on the spectrum. It's like asking somebody, what are the stats for chiropractic care? And will that inform me as to how it'll affect me? The reality is our best data point, between 40 and 50% open rates of our 2+ million emails that we send per month. In email marketing, those rates are unheard of. But the reason we're able to get those rates is because you're emailing your past patients. You're not spamming people that are strangers. You're not buying lists and sending them things they've never wanted. You're, in fact, just the opposite. You're doing what most chiropractors should be doing, which is caring about the people you've taken care of. I'm sure everybody I know, you get emails from your oil change company. You get emails from your dentist. You get emails from restaurants. You get emails on a regular basis for so many things for one simple reason. It demonstrates you care, you want to stay in touch, and I'll dare say that you're smart enough to keep your name, your phone number, your brand, and your messaging in front of people's face on a consistent basis. So we've got docs that are reactivating dozens of patients per month. And quite honestly, we've got some people on our service that contact us and go, why isn't anybody clicking? And the two main factors that people should expect as it relates to getting results, which is really what everybody's wondering. If I do it myself, will it work for me? And the really two main factors are, how big is your email list? If you've got an email list of 10 or 100, you're not going to do as well as people with an email list of 1,000 or 2,000. 1,000 is our average client. And the second part is how likable you are. And it's not something people really think about very much, but that's really the reality. It's kind of funny. We send the same email that, of course, anybody could edit and personalize themselves. But for the most part, The emails going out to millions of people are relatively the same. Now they're personalized for the office, but the content is the same. So you'd have to ask yourself, why would some offices have people that have a lot of people clicking and activating, and why would some other people not? And the only conclusion I can come with is some people are more likable, they have a better customer experience, they are focused on serving people more than other practices that may be more transactional, that may not have their processes and systems or training down as much as they should. And that's really, to me, just sort of the honest, how do I know I'll get results? If you've got a good list of people and you're a good to great chiropractor that's likable, that most people, if you asked, do you think your people would come back to see you? They'd go, of course they would, not, I don't know. Then there's a really good chance that it'll work for you. Our minimum expectation is that most docs who are with us should be receiving at least one reactivation per week that they send emails out. But the
Yeah.
reality is the results are all over the spectrum.
Yeah, in a world where everybody's so hyper focused on Meta, Instagram, Facebook, Google, I think this is a really often missed low lying fruit, a great cost of acquisition point. And you said it, you're just helping make your brand stronger and remind people of hopefully the good experience they had with you. So I love it. It's a unique service and it's worked well for us. So, Jay, we always like to wrap with UAC. You've been in it as long as I've been around, I think. How come? What's been the benefit to you being a UAC member?
That's a great question. I ask myself that often. It's time, it's energy, it's money, it's opportunity cost. And we still keep going. And the reason we keep going is, I'll say, for several reasons. One, it's great to connect with friends, you, Stephen, bunch of others. It's nice to have a pace in your life that you sort of almost have forced vacations. It's a good idea to have forced savings, forced investments. Forced vacations is not a bad thing to have. And I don't mean vacations to just sit around by the pool and not do anything, but I'll say my kind of vacations, which are when you can go, you can travel, you can be with great people, you can learn things, you may even be able to help a few people along the way, and you can sort of have the best of all worlds. Have fun,
Yeah.
be with great people, and actually, when I say help people, you're actually helping people by doing business. We provide services that help chiropractors. So when people do business with us, we're helping them. They get more
Yeah.
people back in their practice. They increase their net momentum. They take pressure off their staff and themselves from having to do the things they know they need to be doing, but probably aren't anyway. And UAC is just one of those sort of places that we can go that we could just, find a sense that there's other crazy people like us. There's not a lot of chiropractors in the world. There's not a lot of passionate chiropractors who are crazy enough to want to get together. And even after so many decades, still keep getting out there, pushing it, fighting for it, and trying to do the right thing to help as many chiropractors, help as many people as possible. So between the good times and the good business results that we do keep getting by staying connected, and I'll say it again, teaching and inviting consistently, it's both a good time and a great investment.
That's awesome, Jay. Well, it's just one of those people who's always been around. I get to see a lot during the year and appreciate how you're always innovating, always finding that next thing. You're not one to sit still. And it's been fun to keep my finger on the pulse of the profession through your activities. Well done, brother.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you do too.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you, Jay.
Take care. We'll see you at the next UAC.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Bye.